In the twilight hours of a summer's dawn in 1735, a pivotal figure in American history, John Adams, was born. From the rustic landscape of Braintree, Massachusetts, emerged a man whose intellectual vigor and unyielding dedication would forge a new nation. Adams's life was a testament to the power of education, the spirit of independence, and the unrelenting pursuit of justice. His story is not only about the roles he played, lawyer, diplomat, president, but also about the indomitable courage and moral fortitude that defined him as one of the principal architects of American liberty. Born into a modest farming family, John Adams was the eldest of three sons of John Adams Sr. and Susanna Boylston Adams. His father, a deacon and a farmer, also served as a town councilman, instilling in young Adams the virtues of civic duty and education. The Boylston family, from his mother's side, were well-established medical professionals, adding to the intellectual richness of his lineage. Adams's early education commenced under the guidance of Joseph Cleverly, where he learned the basics that paved the way to his enrollment at the Latin school. This foundational period was crucial, as it shaped his thirst for knowledge and set the stage for his future academic and political life. His upbringing in Braintree exposed him to the agrarian lifestyle, yet his father's community involvement undoubtedly planted the seeds of public service. Adams's reflections in his diary often cite the influence of his parents, both in his moral outlook and his intellectual pursuits. John Adams's intellectual journey escalated when he entered Harvard College at the age of 16. At Harvard, he was exposed to a wide array of subjects, ranging from the classics to the principles of law and ethics. His studies there not only shaped his adept reasoning skills, but also deepened his commitment to the public good. Graduating in 1755, Adams was initially ambivalent about his career path, contemplating a future in the ministry due to its intellectual and moral engagements. However, his inclination towards practical application of his knowledge drew him towards law. Adams began reading law under James Putnam, a prominent lawyer in Worcester, Massachusetts. This period was crucial, as it coincided with the growing discontent in the colonies over British taxation policies, stirring Adams's political consciousness. In his early adulthood, Adams also began to carve out a public presence through writings under pseudonyms in local newspapers, critiquing various aspects of colonial governance. These writings showcased his growing awareness and opposition to what he perceived as overreach by colonial powers, setting the stage for his later active political engagement. Adams was admitted to the bar in 1758 and quickly gained a reputation as a capable and ethical lawyer. His practice was not limited to small local cases, but also included significant political cases, such as defending the Bostonians' opposition to the Stamp Act. His legal writings and arguments showcased his profound understanding of British law and its applicability or misapplication in the colonies. In 1764, John Adams married Abigail Smith, a minister's daughter, who was an intellectual match for Adams. Their correspondence, filled with political, philosophical, and personal discussions, remains one of the most moving and informative sets of documents from the period. Abigail was not only a supportive wife but also a key advisor throughout Adams's career. Their partnership was both a personal and a professional alliance that fortified Adams through the upcoming turbulent years of American politics, providing emotional and intellectual sustenance. Their marriage also saw the birth of children who would continue the family's tradition of public service, including John Quincy Adams. As British imposition intensified with acts like the Stamp Act and the Townshend Acts, Adams's legal and political involvement deepened. He articulated the colonists' frustrations and arguments for rights and representation, becoming a prominent voice in the Massachusetts Assembly and other local councils. By 1770, Adams's reputation as a staunch advocate for colonial rights was well established, though he also demonstrated a balanced approach by defending British soldiers after the Boston Massacre, underscoring his commitment to justice over popular sentiment. His participation in the First and Second Continental Congresses marked a pivotal shift from local activism to national leadership. Adams was instrumental in pushing for a decisive break from Britain, advocating strongly for independence and contributing to the drafting of important documents and treaties. John Adams's diplomatic career began with his 1778 appointment to replace Silas Deane as a commissioner to France, alongside Benjamin Franklin and Arthur Lee. His efforts in France were pivotal, helping to secure crucial French support for the American Revolution. His diplomatic style, direct and often lacking the finesse of Franklin, was effective nonetheless in various negotiations. In the following years, his missions took him to the Netherlands and Great Britain, where he sought loans and formal recognitions for the young republic. His work in the Netherlands in particular was crucial in securing Dutch recognition of American independence and substantial loans, bolstering the American economy during its nascent stages. Adams's time in Europe also allowed him to forge significant relationships with key European leaders, whose support would be crucial in the later years of the Republic. His diplomatic writings and correspondence from this period provide a vivid account of the challenges and intricacies of foreign policy during America's foundational years. In 1789, John Adams was elected as the first Vice President of the United States, serving under President George Washington. This role, however, proved to be less influential and less satisfying than he had hoped. Adams often described the vice presidency as the most insignificant office that ever the invention of man contrived or his imagination conceived. During his tenure, Adams's primary role was to preside over the Senate, where he frequently exercised his right to cast tie-breaking votes. He cast more such votes than any other vice president in history, which underscores the contentious nature of legislative debates in the nascent republic. Despite this, Adams often felt marginalized in the executive branch, with little influence over Washington's decisions or policies. This period also deepened the ideological rift between Adams and Thomas Jefferson, who represented opposing visions for the future of the United States. Adams's staunch Federalist views often clashed with Jefferson's democratic Republican ideals, setting the stage for significant political battles. These conflicts and his perceived lack of influence in the role left Adams somewhat disillusioned with the position, yet he remained a dedicated public servant, committed to the stability and success of the American government. John Adams succeeded George Washington to become the second President of the United States in 1797. His presidency was marked by significant challenges, both from within the country and abroad. Internationally, the most pressing issue was the quasi-war with France, which dominated his foreign policy. Adams's administration saw a reorganization of the Navy and the establishment of the Department of the Navy, bolstering American defenses and maritime capabilities. Domestically, Adams's presidency is often remembered for the Alien and Sedition Acts, which were passed in 1798. These acts, which made it harder for immigrants to become citizens and allowed for the imprisonment of individuals who criticized the government, were highly controversial. They were seen by many as an infringement on individual rights and led to a significant backlash, including the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions, which were penned by Jefferson and James Madison in opposition. Despite these controversies, Adams's commitment to avoiding full-scale war with France and his efforts to maintain the young republic's sovereignty without bending to foreign pressures are viewed as pivotal. His administration laid down several foundational aspects of federal governance and managed to maintain relative stability in a period of international turmoil. After losing the election of 1800 to Thomas Jefferson, John Adams retired from public life and returned to his farm in Quincy, Massachusetts. This period was marked by reflection and correspondence, particularly with his old friend and rival, Thomas Jefferson. Their letters, which resumed after a long period of estrangement, are among the most valued in American historical archives, offering profound insights into both the personal and political thoughts of these foundational figures. During these years, Adams also focused on his family, seeing his son John Quincy Adams rise in politics and eventually become the 6th President of the United States. This continuation of public service within his family was a source of great pride for Adams. John Adams passed away on July 4, 1826, the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, a poetic end to the life of a man who had dedicated so much to the establishment and nurturing of the United States. His final words, "Thomas Jefferson survives," were mistaken. Jefferson had passed away a few hours earlier on the same day. This synchronicity of their deaths has been noted as one of the most remarkable coincidences in American history. John Adams's life and legacy offer a profound narrative about the birth of a nation and the complexities of its early governance. His story is a testament to the power of steadfast principles, intellectual vigor, and an unyielding commitment to justice and democracy. From the humble beginnings in Braintree to the highest office in the United States, Adams's journey encapsulates the essence of American ideals and the enduring struggle to uphold them. As we delve into the layers of his life, we uncover not just the history of a man, but the foundation of a country. His legacy, intertwined with the fabric of American history, continues to inspire and instruct those who seek to understand the principles upon which the United States was built. John Adams, born in the modest farming town of Braintree, Massachusetts, was not merely a man, but an epoch in the cradle of American history. His unyielding spirit and intellectual prowess carved paths through the dense forests of colonial politics, leading directly to the birth of a nation. Adams's life, intertwined with the genesis of American independence, showcases a journey marked by passion, dedication, and an unwavering commitment to justice and democracy. This essay seeks to illuminate the multifaceted life of John Adams, from his early days through his significant contributions to the founding of the United States, to his final years as a reflective statesman.